Please be seated. Please be seated. There we go. I apologize for the font. Normally I come in on Sunday morning and I plug it in and I go over it several times and I look and see what kind of disaster I've created. It looks really beautiful on my computer screen. I love this sort of lighted tree going down here and the stars forming that. Oh, it looks beautiful back on that screen there, and I understand that sometimes when I go from my screen to this screen with the light in here and the colors, it just changes. It's a nice bright red, and there's multiple colors of red on there. I'm just telling you so you can imagine it. And I will try to fix that. Not today, but another time. I'm having to learn a new computer program, and this week I learned how to make all the backgrounds the same. And next week I'll learn how to change all the fonts all at once. So I could just have gone back there this morning, but one thing per week. That's all I need to learn. In case you can't see that, our sermon today is called Dream Child. A rather ironically chosen theme. I've stole these titles and outlines from somebody on the internet, and I think it was very appropriate. The Lord sort of just sent it that way, because this is one of those sermons where you talk about the visions and the plans and the dreams that we have for our children. And then God does something else. And he always does something else. Our children never turn out the way that we dreamed that they should turn out. They have different talents and abilities. They have different desires and choices. They choose different partners for life. They choose different jobs for life. Sometimes they don't even choose the faith that we have, and that is the worst dream that might end. But God's dreams, God's children that he replaces our dream children with are always better than what we had in mind for our children. I was thinking about this last night when Dana and John's dreams for Matthias came crashing down. She's named some of her children what I would say are odd spellings and odd pronunciations, but it's because she met John while they were both exchange students in Germany. She was an exchange student from Kansas to Germany, and he was an exchange student from Australia to Germany, and they met there and formed happily ever after dreams. The thing is, God intervenes. God steps in, and we were going to discuss that this morning, how God steps in. And he changes those, but he gives them to us back with greater purpose and greater power and greater love than we could ever imagine. And we're going to be studying the dreams that Zechariah and Elizabeth had for their child. Well, for a long time they had no dreams at all. Their dreams had been shattered years before. So let's look at this today, and if you can't see it, or you can. Oftentimes we see families and we go, oh, I wish I had a family like that. Oh, I wish that God, you can't see it, there's a family standing there lighting an Advent candle. I wish I had a family that was as beautiful and as lovely as those. And we can look around the room and you can probably say, oh yeah, that's the family over there that I'd like. But none of our families are perfect. None of our families are Christmas, our Hallmark card families. Instead, we get these kinds of families that may look nice on the surface. You can't really see this, but a shark is waving a human hand on the end of a stick, saying, hi, can you help me? And most of our families may look nice on the outside. But we know that they need work at home and on the inside. And so all of these families are that way. This is a couple sitting there thinking about what might have been. We do not have any Hallmark card families, ever. Christianity is not about making us fairy tale people. It is about helping us in very real, very ordinary, sometimes very tragic circumstances. It is about ordinary people. There is nothing fairy tale about the Bible. Well, maybe Luke chapters 1 and 2. I think those are Mary's recollections of the birth of Jesus. I think Luke went and interviewed her. And if you've ever talked to a woman after she has given birth to a child, they remember the most magical things. There was no pain. There was no disgustingness. There was no, everything was, Carol's looking at me like, I remember all that. But you didn't right then. This lesson was driven home to me when Katie and Lucy were born. Beth was on the delivery floor for a couple of days because they were trying to stop her from delivering, and that's where they thought they needed to have her. And so she heard all these women crying out and screaming and hollering and swearing at their husbands. And then they moved her up to the postpartum floor, and these same women who were agonizing the day before were now going, oh, it was the most blessed experience I've ever had. Anyway, but most of the Bible and all of the Bible is very real. And I think including Luke chapters 1 and 2, which are amazingly real to me. We do not live Hallmark card lives. Real problems, real challenges, real situations impact our lives every day. Many of them that we had never saw coming, but we learn to survive through them. The God who meets us at Advent, the God who sends his Son into this world, does not expect us to come to him with perfect lives. He expects us to come to him with our reality, with our tragedy, with our comedy, with the situations that we have. And we need to understand that. You don't have to be perfect to come to God. He loves you just the way you are. He loves you too much to leave you that way. It's sort of like Tina Gruff. You know, those therapists love her just the way she is, but they are working to change her. And I'm sure the same is true with Amber. They're working to change her life every day. And God does the same for us. But he loves us just the way we are. And this isn't about having perfect lives. So if we look at Luke chapter 1, we first find out that parenting can be both a joy and a great desire in our lives. And it is lots of fun, and we have lots of dreams about what might happen. It says in Luke chapter 1, verse 14, that this child will be a joy and a delight to you. The angel said to Zechariah, and many will rejoice because of his birth. And that was absolutely true. Zechariah and Elizabeth had looked forward for years to having this baby come into their lives. And for years, they didn't think it was going to happen. But then the angel says that Elizabeth is going to have a child. Zechariah doesn't believe him because they are very, very old and well past the childbearing years. But the joy that they have and the joy that they experience because a child is coming into their lives. There is really nothing like dreaming about children that are coming into our lives and holding a baby in our arms and dreaming about what this child can be like. I'm sure that you can remember the dreams that you had for your children, or the dreams that you've had for your nieces and nephews. You have lots of them. We have the dreams, and we can remember those good times. We remember when the doctors handed them to us and we held that child for the first time. We remember when they learned to ride a bicycle. We remember when they lost their first tooth, usually from riding the bicycle. We remember all of those amazing things that they did when